What's up, mortgage coach community? Dave Savage sitting down with Steve Grossman. I consider Steve, a very important client of ours, very important industry leader who just has this special way of high touch, like old school, but he knows when to leverage high tech and do super smart things. So old school, new school. And Steve's become a good friend of mine over the years. What's up, my friend?
Hey, Dave, how you doing? Thanks for
Doing
having
good,
me on the show.
Well, thanks for being on today's show. I really felt like I wanted to get your take on that halftime report that Krista Besserly and I wrote. And I mean, it's not about the report; it's about the industry, kind of the state of the opportunity. Now, you are an owner and an executive, right? So, could you just one describe your role as an executive and leader of a mortgage business, and then two, you're a producing executive of a mortgage company, and I want everybody to get a feel for that.
Sure, I don't produce as much as I used to, but I still try to keep my hand in originations just because I've been doing it so long. I have a lot of clients that still come to me, and also feel it keeps me relevant and allows me to talk the talk when I'm recruiting loan officers, mentoring loan officers, and just speaking with other loan officers. So my role here is NJ Lenders is a retail shop. We're located in New Jersey, but we're licensed in about 20 states. We have about 350 people today, had a little bit more a couple of weeks ago. My role here is kind of the chief strategy officer. I'm pretty active on the day-to-day operations of the company. My partner, Glenn, really runs one end of it, and I do more of kind of oversight of a lot of different departments, as well as just always looking for innovative products like the mortgage coach or sales boomerang or other that to make our company better. Dave, I didn't hear you, pal.
As an originator, I mean, you weren't just doing loans; you were one of the top producers in the entire country. So how much were you doing in personal production at your peak, and then when did you start scaling that down?
My peak was over 200 million. Many years ago. Last year was a little under 200 million, but last year was not a great reflective year. I mean, I don't think I'll hit 100 million this year. And I just kind of scaled it down as just really not going out for new relationships. It just kind of, it was organic. It did it on its own, but it was also, I elected to focus my energies more on helping NJ Lenders become a better company, helping NJ Lenders grow, than helping Steve Grossman with his own personal production. So because I've been doing it for 31 years, I've been very fortunate, but at the same place for 28 years, I just have a large book of business of people that come back to me. So there's just a natural attrition, well, not attrition, just a natural just flow of business that comes in that just for doing it so long and being at the same place so long that just prior clients or referral partners just come to me. But as the years march on, the referral partners get older and they become less and less. It's just the business will just kind of just plateau.
Yeah, I just want to make sure people heard that, because usually when you hear like a leader who still does some production, it's like less than 20 million, and you're still scaled it down, and it sounds like it's going to be a little less than 100 million, and you did almost 200 million last year. So I think that puts you in a very unique space. Obviously, be with the same company for almost 30 years puts you in a unique space. So let's break down this year. We are now past halftime, but when I wrote this report, I asked a bunch of people 3 questions, and I want to ask them of you.
Sure, please.
So when you think of all the data, call it trends in the market, what do you think really is most important to call out, and call out in a way that creates opportunities? Because I do want to get to the end of this conversation, what you think are a few of the biggest opportunities and strategies today.
Sure. I mean, the trend clearly hasn't been our friend this year. I remember being at a conference in January, and there was the chief economist of either Fannie or Freddie or National Association of Realtors. I forgot who was on the panel, but when they all forecast the volume of the industry and interest rates of the industry, they were all wrong. And that was only like 7 months ago. So it wasn't like somebody forecasted something 2-3 years ago. So really, no one really expected the kind of coming. We were at the top of a roller coaster to the bottom, and we went from a high to the low and low really quick. But you kind of asked the question, and I might have forgotten about opportunity, is that the opportunity is demographics, in my opinion, is we never have had more 31 and 33-year-olds as we do today that are viable homeowners. I think this is a pause in the market, and the pause in the market is not based on the economy, because overall the economy is still very good. Interest rates are higher, but they're not really through the roof. We've had rates this high. I think there's a little consumer sentiment on the housing market because people are like, no mas. I started looking at houses when their rates were 3%. I didn't find anything. House price a little bit more. My payments considerably higher, and I'm tired of just getting outbid. I'm tired of overpricing, paying above what the asking price is. So I think we're going through this great pause, and it won't last forever. I think the market the values overall may retract a little bit, and you can't look at nationwide because every market's different, but there's going to be a little bit of a pause. But I think we're going to go back to whatever business as usual is. We're not going to have, maybe if a recession occurs, there will be a refi market to bail out the industry. But I think we're just going to go to a nice, healthy housing market. And you're going to have less people in the business. Then I think the people in the business will be better. Companies are right-siding right now. They're unfortunately letting a lot of great people go, but the industry is going to make itself profitable. Could we have done it a few months earlier as an industry, but we were hoping there was going to be a spring market, and I don't think we had an overall boom like we usually do. I was on a call last week with the chief economist, Dr. Lawrence Yoon of National Association of Realtors, and I posed a question to him. And I asked him, does he think we are still in a cyclical housing market, i.e. the spring market? And he said no. And he kind of still had attributed to not COVID per se, but working from home and the transition of people going back to school. So our business, which used to have higher peaks and valleys throughout the calendar year when it came to home buying, of course, those months vary depending on what part of the country you're in, may be a little bit more consistent flow, or the flow may be not, you're not going to have the crazy spring market as you historically have, and you may transact business more so throughout the entire year. So I think from an optimistic perspective, the demographics in our favor. We got to get through this pause. I don't think it's going to last forever, but I still think the wind is not at our back right now. We still have a few more months ahead of us of these times. And I think you got to dig in, get market share, and watch your expenses, and really just work harder.
Cool. So let's go through some of the things you've highlighted. I'm just going to scroll through the halftime report. And the data point you really jumped out at was, well, you didn't mention equity, but equity is number 2 trend that we called out in this report. You did absolutely called out the demographic shift, and the opportunity that creates for folks. Let's get into some strategies. One of the things that we really recommended in this halftime report is big data. Like lenders need to know their past customer database. They need to be able to deliver the right loan at the right time. What's your take on how you think lenders should prioritize that?
Well, I got an email this morning. So I got a sales boomerang alert today, and it was an inquiry. And we called the client, literally got it this morning, and they said, I'm selling and buying, and my mortgage is already taken care of. And I was pissed. And why I was pissed is because I didn't do a great job in calling that person every year like I should be, or calling that person and doing a mortgage coach analysis once a year. And I do rely on Sales Boomerang as an amazing tool to notify me, but that's half the job. But I think using a database and calling your clients annually, because if I had called that client, maybe when it came to buying the new property, they would have called me. I get a ton of repeat business. I don't get all the repeat business. So I think it's very important. The data that you use is to reach out to your clients, not just sending drip campaign stuff because you may not have their correct email. They get 1,000 pieces of email, is calling them, and you want to call them with a purpose. And it could be doing a mortgage coach analysis. It could be there's other tools out there that may go over that you could discuss what their value is and go over the equity and what do they want to do with the equity. And then you could present an analysis, do you want to use a second mortgage, a home equity line to tap into it to buy an investment property, second home, or do whatever? Or in some markets, you may have to, or clients, they may take out money out to do a renovation because they can't find a house and they're better off staying, doing a debt consolidation. But I think just using your database to stay in touch with the clients is key. And when you call them, you want to call them with a purpose and a strategy. And the tools to answer your question would be whatever CRM you use. I'm agnostic. I think there's a lot of great ones out there, but using a tool like a mortgage coach, when you do call them, to do some type of annual review.
Okay, so I want to make sure I break this down, and I'm gonna go back to the report. I'll put a link to that down below.
Sure.
But you went beyond big data. So, hey, we got to have that. But you talked about, and I think of it as a combination of two things. There's automation, at Mortgage Coach Sales Boomerang, we think of it this way. We think we're a borrower intelligence platform, and borrower intelligence is sometimes it's a pure automated thing, like, hey, let's automatically create a TCA. Let's automatically schedule it. But then there's personalization. And there's a time where, at least what I heard you say, you didn't deliver as much personalized value over the course of the year. You did get the automated alert, so that's good, and make sure that you guys, you have that. But I want to also remind everybody, and you have Sales Boomerang, there's a lot of those alerts that can, in this market, like the cash out alert. Every cash out alert is a chance for personalization, where you not only look at, hey, should this customer be reevaluating their debt, but should this customer be moving up or moving down? And then all the life, and tell me your thoughts on this, all the life events that we have. Hey, someone had a new baby. Hey, someone got a new job. All those lifestyle alerts that we have, those are opportunities, that's like a chance to call with some personalization around it. What are your thoughts? Should we be doing more of those lifestyle alerts so that you have good reasons to call people throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you something simple I do, and I might have told you this one before, Dave. I'm a Facebook stalker. I don't post on Facebook, but I stalk just because I got nothing else better to do in my free time. But one of the things I do is anytime I see a client have a baby, a client's kid has a baby, attorney I know's kid has a baby, a realtor, I send out a baby gift. Same baby gift. I've been doing it for years. And Facebook is probably one of the best CRMs out there. Now, some of the younger generation doesn't use Facebook. They're on Instagram, TikTok. But Facebook is a great way to kind of know when your borrowers are experiencing, or your borrower's family or friends, these events that you described. But what ends happening, and without kind of coming across like an underhand salesman, is that my strategy behind it is, most people have a baby eventually buy a house. And if I already did a loan for them, there's a good chance they have friends who are going to buy a house, because birds of a feather flock together. 33, 35-year-old people who have babies have friends who are 33, 34, 35 that have babies. And this is our audience who buy homes. So this baby gift thing I've been doing for years, it's been, I can't tell you how many loans I get from it, or just people think, it's the nice gesture, but just using information on these milestones and these life changes, it turns into business. And, sometimes we're getting these inquiries or getting a home equity line. Why are you getting a home equity line? I'm buying a second home. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that you do mortgages in those states. So just staying on top of your clients on whatever tool you're going to use it's kind of our job. And most people don't do that part of the job. But if you do that, you will build a customer for life, which is a lot of really the philosophy behind Mortgage Coach. And the people keep on coming back to you and your company, because you want a brand. So when they need a mortgage, you're the only person they call.
So let's break this down a little bit more. Folks have questions, put it down below. But to me, the big takeaways, again, part of our mission is every family can achieve financial freedom if they're getting the right loan at the right time. And so, and the real focus of the industry should be lifetime value, recognizing that families are going to be doing a lot of loans, they're going to be buying a lot of homes. I mentioned the cash out alert, where you know the debt, the value, the equity, and that we could give you an alert. And then you can decide to, and by the way, I think it would be a good thing to always check people out on Facebook before calling. Of these life events that we have on our platform, it sounds like the new baby alert, is the additional birth or firstborn. What else? What's your second favorite alert out of the ones that are on the screen right now?
I guess newly married would be a great one because what we do in that category, if it's once again a prior client's kid, or somebody we know, my admin does it. I think she goes to the Knot. There's one or two of these aggregators of wedding gifts. I'll take a shot and I'll send out a $25, $50 engagement gift to a prior client's kid, knowing that one day they're going to do it. And at the same time too, I don't capitalize on bad things, but I also want to be, a caring person, is that if we see that a client's family member passed away, and you know what, they were a client of ours, they gave us the opportunity to work with them. And if I was their lender for life, I feel I'm part of their extended family in a way, without sounding hokey, is we will go ahead and we keep cards on our desks to send out if someone passes away. We'll go to the funeral home. We'll like to see who their donation is. And if it's to the volunteer fire department, we'll make a $25 donation. And it's a way for us to dig deeper into our relationships with our borrowers, to really take the price out of the equation. So when they come back to us, or where they're looking, or their family member is looking to take a mortgage, it's really not about price, it's about relationship. So that would be the things that on your list, Dave, and you took it off the screen. So that's the things that I would look at.
Okay, cool. Well, let's go into wrap up mode. Anything else you want to call out from the halftime report, or any closing thought you have for any lender or loan officer? So whether you want to give the advice to executives or mortgage professionals, any closing thoughts?
Well, there's a lot smarter people on this call that could give advice than me. And as far as executives, I think we're all doing what we got to do, is just really manage our expenses. But for loan officers, is we have to work harder. We have to work on our business. We have to go back to the basics. It's hard to go back and calling your database if you haven't done it. It's hard to go out and make new realtor relationships when we were just getting loans from the loan tree and we were in a reactive business. We have to be proactive right now. You have to go back to the basics, and everybody's basics is different, but you have to prospect, and whichever way prospect is the best for you, because there's just, I don't believe one size fits all, but I think you'd be smarter about it. I think there's great technology out there that could identify who the good realtors are, how much business they're doing in the competition. But I think you just have to go back out there and just get market share, because the existing partners that you have are going to do less business. And the only ways to sustain or grow your business is to get more partners. And the only way to do it is just to get out there old school and just pound the pavement. And pounding the pavement can be done, email, videos, office meetings, whatever you got to do. But you have to go out there and really consciously work on old-fashioned cold calling.
Yeah, and that, to me, my closing thought to everyone listening to this, I actually said, I talked about, are you getting bitter? Are you getting better? And I got an email over the weekend from someone who just said, I so love that. And then I responded back to my email and I put hashtag better always beats bitter. And I do think we're in a marketplace right now where it's easy to, either be upset, be regretful. There's a lot of stress. We're having to right size businesses. Loan officers are having to make tough changes in their team structures, whether that's changing comps, sometimes shrinking the team. But I think this is a market share market. When I did the halftime report, it was the first time in my 36-year history in the business when we're going through a massive pivot, and it wasn't just all that. There's a demographic shift that's really good for our business. There is a lot of equity that's really good for our business. There's the fact that housing is going to be solid. We've gone through other shifts where housing isn't solid, and the future of values is at much more risk. So we got a lot going on, guys, but we got to get better. If you're not using Mortgage Coach, get on the team. If you're not calling on your alerts, there's a lot of folks that have sales boomerang and alerts and bar intelligence that just aren't making the calls. And guys, this is not the time to do that. So Steve, really appreciate you, brother. I look forward to our next conversation, and hopefully we'll see you in person this year.
Can't wait, Dave, and thanks for having me, and have a great day.
All right. Take care, everybody. Give this a like. If you do not follow our YouTube channel, Mortgage Coach on YouTube, and also be sure to follow our group. Take care, everybody. Hope you got value.